Good morning, everyone. Emmanuel with Cabal Construction here. So I wanted to take you by this ADU and discuss panels a little bit. So this one is a little work in progress. We've got a installation inspection today. I'll give you a quick little tour of this one, how it's going. So this is a garage conversion. Walls are 10 feet high, so that's nice. If you have a nice tall garage, it's always nice to create a conversion because it'll feel nice and spacious. We actually added this portion that you see here with the sliding glass door, the entrance, and the window there. And this will be a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. But let's discuss the panel because I get a lot of questions about this. Okay, so here is the electrical panel. This electric panel right now services the main house. Okay, now the owner wanted us to separate utilities for the electrical and have us do 2 meters. Okay, so what needs to happen for that is that we need to disconnect this and then replace it with what's called a 2-in-1 panel. And each of those that panel has to service 200 amps, 100 for the house, and then 100 for the ADU. Okay, so what happens is you put in a service request with SDG&E. You let them know that you want to do this upgrade. Okay, those tickets right now are taking about I would say 2 to 3 months before SDG&E comes back and comes to look at your property and gives you a plan on how to do it. Okay, why do you need to know what SDG&E wants from you first? Well, because there are specific guidelines that you have to abide by in terms of code, in terms of SDG&E's requests, mainly to do with risers and where they need to be. If it's underground, there's specifics. If you're going to go more than 200 amps, they need to upgrade the wiring, and that's some deep trenches. It's quite a bit of work. So it's always good to make sure that you know your electrical plan before you even start the ADU, okay, so that you know what you're getting yourself into, and it would help you with your total projected cost of the project. Okay, but this particular unit, they only need 100 extra amps for the ADU, and that's why they're upgrading to the 200. So a lot of questions I get is, why do I need a 200 amp panel? Why can't I just do it from my main panel? Well, the reality is that 100 amps for 2 units is going to be very tight. And not only that, but California code now requires at least 60 amps per unit. So that's why usually what homeowners are doing these days is they're just going to go with the 200 amp so that they can go ahead and get both units. A lot of times you need to upgrade your panel because you simply don't have the room. Okay, now what does that mean? What do you mean room? How can I have the room? Well, let me kind of explain that to you all here. Okay, so this particular panel here, okay, I've removed the cover plate so that you can see. But these breakers, okay, are grabbing on to what are called phases. Now those 2 metal pieces there, okay, those are technically hot, so we don't touch them, but these 2 little metal pieces that you see here are what called the phases. And then you see these little kind of like basically they're little hooks for the breaker to grab onto. Okay, so a lot of times when you show up at an existing house, it'll have an old panel, okay, and it won't have any more phases, so you can't grab onto anything else. Okay, that's when it's usually time to upgrade the panel to a bigger panel, not necessarily more amperage, but at least a bigger panel that you can work with. Okay, so yeah, just to give you some insight, I hope that I answered maybe 1 or 2 questions by answering, I don't know, 30 to 40 questions or something like that. But hope it was helpful. Again, if you have any questions about building your ADU, give us a call. All right, 760-410-4077. Cabal Construction, built on trust.